Hi, Teresa Brooks here. Um, I haven't done a video update in a while, so I've been thinking a lot about doing one and just haven't. I got some updates for my cancer treatment, and I'm going to share part of why I'm doing this non-chemical treatment for my cancer. First, in 2003, I had a hysterectomy. And when I had the hysterectomy, they put me on a medication that they said I would be on for life. It was a hormone therapy. So I took that hormone therapy, which is a pill, from March 2003 until I had heart failure and almost died June 30th of 2009. So this pill, and they said that it was caused by the pill. Okay, so I think it was called estradiol. Okay, so they told me I had to take this pill for life, and it almost ended my life 6 years later. It caused me to end up with a pacemaker. And at the time that I had the heart failure, and everything went out of whack all of a sudden. It was like I was stuck. I was put on a high cholesterol medicine and I had never had a cholesterol issue. All these things happened. It was so weird. So the high cholesterol medicine, guess what? They said I had to take this medicine for life, which actually is odd because isn't there a chance that you can get your cholesterol under control and get off of cholesterol medicine? Well, long story short, the cholesterol medicine they told me that I needed to be on for life, I was on for 8 months and ended up with nerve damage in my feet within 8 months and could barely walk. During this time also, because of the heart failure, they told me not to gain weight, that I needed to maintain my weight. I think at the time I was maybe 140 pounds, 135, 140 pounds. Okay. They sent me to a shrink. Okay. The shrink put me on this pill that, oh my God, I craved and craved and craved and craved and craved and craved sugar. I couldn't stop eating. I gained 50 pounds in 1 month. 50 pounds in 1 month because I could not stop eating. I stopped that pill. And it took me a long time to get the weight back down. I got to, so it was that pill, the cholesterol pill, and between the gaining 50 pounds and not being able to hardly walk because of the pain in my ankles, my feet, my legs from what was becoming nerve damage, I think I was on a total of 20 medications at that time, not to mention pain medication, which was very highly addictive, muscle relaxers, highly addictive. I was taking And then because the congestive heart failure, I was on a fluid pill, potassium pill. Because of COPD, I was using 3 different inhalers, a nebulizer. I was taking 20 different medications. Okay. And that was caused because they put me on a hormone replacement therapy. And I smoked cigarettes. And so they said that it was because I smoked cigarettes and was taking the hormone replacer. So if they knew I was a smoker and they put me on this medicine, was that even a good idea? All those young people out there right now that are taking these different pills for birth control that smoke cigarettes. Now, I'm not saying anything about birth control. I prefer birth control to 50 million babies out there. But I'm just saying, if they smoke cigarettes and take those pills, I hope that they should really warn them, because they never warned me. They didn't tell me that smoking cigarettes while taking this medicine was what could cause me heart failure. The heart failure, I almost died. I dropped dead at a gas station, and they gave me CPR. Is what I was told. I remember I was just walking into a gas station, and I reached all of a sudden my heart I just felt really weird, and it was like my chest was gonna explode, and next thing I knew, I woke up on the ground. So anyway, long story short, I took all that medicine for a really, really, really long time, and for several years, and then the stomach medicine. And the medicine was insane that I was on at that time. And because it was like, okay, you had to take this one pill as soon as you woke up, 30 minutes before eating, drinking, taking in other medicine, and then you couldn't lay down for 30 minutes after taking this medicine. And then there was another medicine that it was for the stomach that I couldn't take for an hour after taking another pill. And then there was those that were 3 times a day, 2 times a day. It was just insane. And then not to mention the pain medicines that were addictive. You start out taking this much, and then you end up taking that much, and then it just keeps adding and adding and adding. And Lord, I was taking so much medication. And then one day, I just cold turkey. I was sick. I felt like I was going to die for about 30 days. And I mean, I would never suggest this to anybody, because it was really horrible. For a month, I just felt like I was so sick. I felt like I was going to die, but I just couldn't do it anymore. So every bit of it. And after, it was 30 days or so, it might have been a little more than that, but for a little while, I was definitely ill. I mean, I quit every single thing. And I didn't even go to the doctor for a year. I didn't even go see my doctor. And then about a year later, I went to see my doctor, and I was like, all these medicines that were supposed to be for life. I said, so what do I really need? And he said, well, the less you take, the better off you are. So you've done good this long, which was great. So now fast forward to now. And so in January, I was diagnosed with double positive hormone cancer. It's a it's a HR, which is hormone. Wait a minute. Let me get this right. progesterone negative. Anyway, estrogen positive. HR, HER, HER2 positive. So it's double positive breast cancer. And very aggressive is what they kept telling me. But I found the lump a year ago, August, when I was taking care of Mom. And after she had broke her hip. And I didn't go biopsy or do any of that stuff while she was, because I was taking care of her while she was dying. After I lost her, that's when I went and I actually got it diagnosed. So I left everything in Kentucky and I came out here to New Mexico. So they immediately started telling me that I needed chemotherapy. They were telling me that in February. It was actually even interesting how all this transpired. I went and had the mammogram, the biopsy and everything. January 4th, I got my diagnosis through MyChart online. I found out through an email that I had cancer. I had no friends to talk to about it. I really had, I think I went on Facebook and shared it all. But yeah, I found out online, and it took me 2 weeks to get into, for my actual doctor to read me the report, which I had already figured out that it was breast cancer, but I didn't understand the double positive and all that stuff. So he sent me up with an oncologist. I went to the oncologist. And some of you know this because I'll post this on YouTube, and I've been doing some, YouTube videos talking about my diagnosis and all this and my recovery. So they started pushing chemo. And when I came out here, I wasn't going to do chemo and be by myself in Kentucky because I had nobody that was going to help me. There was no one there. I had no friends that were close that were going to do anything to help me. And I was doing animal rescue, so I had like 50 animals to take care of. Since Mom died, I had nobody. I had like 50 animals that I had to care for and do chemo, take myself back and forth to Ashland, which was like a 2-hour round trip. And at the time, I didn't even know how many hours it was going to be for the chemo. So it would be like a 2-hour round, 2 to 2.5 hour round trip, driving by myself to go have chemo treatments. That did not sound like something that I really wanted to do. So out here, I have my family. Stop biting me. My cat is biting me. She wants petted, and I'm not paying enough attention to her. She's rotten. So they kept pushing chemo, but I decided instead of doing chemo that I was going to do this chemical-free. So I found Gerson therapy, and everybody knows that. I have talked about Gerson therapy so much. But, so I've been doing Gerson therapy, studying a lot with Chris Beat Cancer. You can go to chrisbeatcancer.com and learn a whole lot about chemical-free treatment for cancer and other illnesses. Because the Gerson therapy has treated debilitating migraines, lupus, arthritis, multiple sclerosis, diabetes, gout. I mean, there's a load of, my brother is doing the Gerson therapy, and where he had hair loss, his hair is growing back. Where he had the really bad arthritis in his hands are getting back to normal. My sister-in-law has really, really severe arthritis in her hands, and it's helping her arthritis. But for me, So the point that I'm getting to is, so they kept wanting me to do the chemotherapy, the radiation, and I refused both chemotherapy and radiation. And I did have surgery. They removed the tumor. They removed a lot of pre-cancer. They removed the cancer tumor and removed a lot of pre-cancer cells that were in my breast. And they removed 8 lymph nodes. 2 of them had cancer cells. So I am still recovering from the mastectomy and dealing a whole lot with depression. And there's actually some that will say that it's just a self-pity trip. Well, I say go have one breast removed and then tell me how great you feel about that. So I'm dealing a lot with depression. But as far as the chemo, okay, so for several months they pushed chemo and radiation, but instead of doing chemo and radiation, which they told me was pretty much imperative that I do this, I have done, and I'm just going to put it out there, but right now, I started out doing like 12 juices every day. 12 juices every day, and enemas. Enemas are detoxing. I know people think that's weird, but it's detoxing. And doing detox is very important. Anyway, I had to pause here and I will be back.